the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. Sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. On the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I consider impossible is losing. I've been waiting on the sidelines for a long time. Now I'm finally getting in the game. It's about time. This is my time. This is my time. The only thing I
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. I got some news for you all that I just got fresh off the press. Listen, Dalvin Cook is about to be a Miami Dolphin. Stephen Ross gives the all-in directive. I'm going to tell you what I know and more and what this means. Buckle up your seatbelt. I'm going to be honest. I honestly don't know how I feel about this yet. For many reasons. I know we all want Dalvin Cook. We want Dalvin Cook, but I got to tell you my thoughts on this. I don't know. I guess hopefully I settle on how I feel about it in this stream. But yeah, we're going to talk about it. Y'all hit that like button on your way in so we can go ahead and get started. Punch that like button right now so we can go ahead and have a conversation. All right, let's get 100 likes. All right. And while we're waiting on the likes to be hit, let's get a quick word from our sponsor. And that concludes our show for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in to TDPHINSTALK, home of the real Miami Dolphin fans. Tomorrow morning, I will be getting up extra early to do this stream. Thank you again. I will see you all soon. Peace. I am out. Good night, baby. Let me. Man, can you turn your light off? It's hard for me to sleep like this.
I'm almost over this chapter. I got about 30 more minutes.
30 minutes?
Yeah.
I can't sleep. Oh, all right.
A few moments later.
Babe, I mean, it's been 10 minutes. Can you please shut it off? I got to wake up early in the morning.
I have about 20 more minutes on this chapter. This is my only time to read.
I understand, but I have to get up early in the morning. Can you just read in the morning? I mean, I have a lot I have to do tomorrow.
Didn't you just get a sleep mask?
You know what? You right.
Use it.
Manta sleep, baby.
I don't know how you sleep with that thing on.
It's actually comfortable. Pitch black. I don't have to worry about your light. I'll be able to sleep just fine.
Well, enjoy it. Looks good on you.
This actually feels good. Oh, good night, baby.
Good night, love you.
Love you too.
Ladies and gentlemen, check out Manta Sleep. The link to the website is in the description of this video. Make sure that you use promo code TDPHINSTALK. That is TDPHINSTALK. Again, make sure you check them out. Supporting our sponsors is supporting the channel. If you can't sleep when it's bright, these masks will turn out the light. Manta Sleep. Check them out. Check them out, ladies and gentlemen. Manta Sleep. The link is in the description of the video. Make sure that you click on it. Use code TDPHINSTALK. Supporting our sponsors is supporting the channel. Thank you all so much. Let's get that like button up. We got 230 people watching between all platforms right now, and we just started this stream. So y'all hit that like button. We got to get at least 100 likes. Let's go ahead and punch that like button. Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook. I need 2 pairs. Hey, Davin, go check it out, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. Slept like a baby. Slept like a baby. It's like, and they're so comfortable and they cushy, and they actually come with nice earplugs just in case you sleep next to somebody who snores. Just FYI. But hit that like button, man. Come on, Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook. All right, real quick. Let me put a poll in the comment section. All right. I need to know y'all thoughts. Do you want Dalvin Cook or not? Yes or no in the comment section. Yes or no in the comment section. Because we got to talk about this. We got to talk about this. All right. If that wasn't me, TD, I'd be sleeping on the couch. Yeah. But listen, man, you don't have to if you just get the sleep mask. They're actually phenomenal, and they don't even. It's actually at a great price too. All right. But go ahead and fill out the poll. All right, so let me tell y'all what I know, okay? Listen, I was told that Stephen Ross gave the all-in directive. I asked, what does that mean? Stephen Ross wants a Super Bowl within the next 2 years, no question asked, or heads will spin. That's what that means. That's what I was told that it meant. Stephen Ross gave an all-in directive, which meant Super Bowl in the next 2 years or heads will spin. And this isn't something he just gave today. This isn't something he gave last week. I was told he gave this directive as soon as the season ended. As soon as our season was over, he gave the all-in directive. Get it done, 2 years or heads are spinning. What does head spinning mean? People getting fired. People getting fired. We ain't got a Super Bowl in the next 2 years. People getting fired. And it ain't coming at the lower levels. And this my speculation. It can only be Greer. It can only be Greer. And this explains your Jalen Ramsey moves. This explains giving that kind of money. This explains it. But it also, when you heard the agent of Cook, because I was already told that we did contact about Cook, but from my understanding at the time when I was told about it, it was an inquiry. Didn't think much of it because I thought we inquired about Derrick Henry, Cook. We inquire about everybody. That's what we do when somebody comes available. So I already knew about the inquiry of Cook. But when you got an all-in directive and you run it back with these same 4 running backs that getting these small, cheap deals, that ain't no all-in directive. And they're going after Dalvin Cook. Now, here's the issue with the Dalvin Cook move. Do you give up a draft pick for him?
Or do you hope nobody else gives up a draft pick and just pick them up when they cut them? Because they've already made it clear that they're not going to be moving. It doesn't look like they're going to be moving on with Dalvin Cook. Contract is expiring. The dead money doesn't hurt him. He's an $8 million dead cap, but he got 3 years left on the contract. That means $2.6 million dead cap, $2.6 million dead cap, $2.6 million dead cap for the next 3 years. No team cares about that when you're going to save $15 million for each year. See, if they cut Dalvin Cook, they're going to save about $15 million for the next 3 years. They only got a $2.6 million dead cap for 3 years straight. 2.6, 2.6, 2.6. But, of course, they're going to try to get a little draft pick if they can. And this is where we're playing a dangerous game, I believe, Chris Greer. I know that the Miami Dolphins won Dalvin Cook. I keep saying Brandon. I know the Miami Dolphins won Dalvin Cook. But you know Chris Greer. He want to get the best deal possible. There's a potential deal that we could make right now for Dalvin Cook, which is like a low-end draft pick. They're just trying to unload him and get something instead of cutting him. But Chris Greer, if I can understand what Chris Greer's standpoint is, why do I need to give up a draft pick? I barely got any anyway. Let's keep that in mind. When if nobody trades for him, you're going to release him June 1st pretty much. And I can just sign him and didn't have to give up a draft pick. I can just sign him. But that's a dangerous move because between now and draft day, any other team could call and say, hey, I got a 5th or a 6th round pick. They'll take anything over nothing. That's a gamble. So if you got that all-in directive, I don't know about it unless the only saving grace in all of this is if the Dolphins have already talked to Cook and said, we're wanting them to release you and we're going to come give you a new contract. Because that's another thing. They're going to have to give him a new contract. And I'm going to tell you now, they probably will because guess what? What he was making is exactly pretty much what Byron Jones was going to be getting. When that Byron Jones money hit the books again, we got it right there if we want to go get Cook. But I don't like it because I don't want to be giving Cook 15, 16 million a year. But the Dolphins are already throwing money everywhere. Look what we did with Chubb. Look what we did with Ramsey. Look what we did with Tyreek. We are throwing serious money, y'all. Do y'all notice that? This ain't typical on rosters. We really throwing some significant cash. That's what you call all-in directive. That's an all-in directive. Or is it? Because it looked like we going all in on everything except what's going to matter the most, the O-line. But here's where I'm conflicted. We all know if you're going all in, you got to address this O-line, but they keep neglecting it and they're ignoring it. And they honestly, that's us. That's us being delusional. That's us fans being delusional. That's us walking around here talking about we need the O-line. Come on, man, if you're really all in. But they done already technically told us. Technically, they already told us. We going to war with the same group. They technically, now they can still go make a move here and there, and hopefully they do, which once again, us in our delusion. But they actually told us that they pretty much running the same O-line unit this year. They have told us that a few different times in different ways. And we're like, yeah, but go get O-line. So if you're not going to go get the O-line, it's like, man, then I'm going to be honest with you. Something better than nothing, right? Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'd rather go get a left guard and a right tackle worth of $15 million than Dalvin Cook. But if they ain't going to get a left guard and right tackle, I'll definitely take Dalvin Cook. Something better than nothing. And I'm gonna be honest. I feel it on the stream. Now I want them to go get Dalvin Cook. Why? Because maybe we'll get bored and say, we got everything now except them two old linemen. All right, let's see what we can do if we can do something. Like, I want them to go get Dalvin Cook at this point. Go get Dalvin Cook. You're going to pay him. And what else would this team need? Don't tell me tight end. We don't use them anyway. We just need them to block. You get Dalvin Cook, your run game solidified. If Tua healthy and he plays at a high level, your quarterback is solidified. Your wide receivers are solidified. Your tight end is solidified because all you need is blockers. You don't use them anyway in this system the way it's been. You got your corners, you got your safeties, you got your D-line. Linebacking can get better, but that's an area that they'll probably address in the draft. What more would we need other than the two O-linemen? What more would this roster need? What? Please, somebody tell me, what more would we need? Go get him. Go get Cook. And I feel like at the last minute, we may do something in training camp and then go get an O-line, because the all-in directive, how can you go so far and getting all this talent and just stop there? I'm at a point now, go ahead and lock in the true essence of all-in. They ain't getting no kicker. They're sticking with Jason Sanders. They already done said it. And they bring in competition at best just to not make them feel comfortable. All-in directive. Act like it, Chris Greer. Now, let me ask y'all a question. Would you give up a 5th round pick for Dalvin Cook right now? Or would you risk another team stealing him in hopes that they release him and then you sign him without giving up a pick? Which one would you do? Trade now or wait till June 1st when they cut him? Take that risk. Which would you do? Now or June 1st? Put it in the comment section. Now or June 1st? Put now or June 1st in the comment section. Now, June 1st. Now. Wait until June 1st. Now. That's the scary part. Now. Fix. Yeah, now, June 1st, June 1st. Y'all split. Now I'm getting a lot of nows. Yeah, there's some June 1st though. So the people that will wait to June 1st, you're willing to take that risk. Somebody else will call and give them a 5th or a 6th round pick for them. It might even be a 7th round pick. Something is better than nothing. Somebody might call at the last minute and give a 7th. What would I do? I'm going to be honest, it's tough. I would trade for him right freaking now. And a matter of fact, let me go ahead and share this with y'all. We are all in. This has been bothering me like the last 2 weeks. I'm one of those people where I want our contingency plans to be in place, our backup plans to be in place, the future. And if y'all look at this team, We literally have no contingency plan. We have no backup. I ain't talk about depth or backups. We have no plan for 3 years down the road whatsoever. And that does bother me. Every move that we've made has further and further and further destroyed any out this team has 3 years from now. We are at a point right now that if this crashes and burns and fails for the next 2 years, we would literally be starting from scratch. Literally. No backup whatsoever. We don't have a corner already in place to replace Xavier Howard, nor do we have the draft picks for it. We don't have a corner in place to replace Jalen Ramsey, nor do we have the draft pick for it. We don't have a draft pick nor player in place to replace Teron Armstead. We don't have anything in place to replace. Well, I ain't gonna add Chubb because he's young. He don't need to be replaced, hopefully. We don't have a lot of key positions in place to replace. And then when you look at the young core, when you don't have people to replace the older guys that's getting a lot of money, that means you have to go spend big money again for their replacement. How are you going to replace Teron Armstead when you don't even have the picks to do it, right? You got to go buy another version of him, somebody that's a top guy for that money. But then you got Jalen Waddle, Jalen Phillips, Connor Williams, Christian Wilkins, Zach Zeeler, Brandon Jones, Javon Holland, and so many more. I just don't want to be wrecking my brain to go through it. At least 5 more guys within the next 2 years that's going to need their money. Robert Hunt. They're going to need their money. But how can you pay them their money? Because usually you rely to pay them their money because those veteran guys will be gone. And you'll be replacing the veteran guys with young guys. But we don't have enough draft capital to be replacing these big contract guys right now. We don't have the draft capital to replace the guys that shouldn't be here in 2 years. There's too many of them. There's going to be too many situations of Dolphins can't afford to pay them, so they got to trade them just to get draft assets. There are going to be a few situations where people are mad. I can't believe we traded Christian Wilkins. Not saying that's going to happen, but somebody's going to come to that situation. I can't believe we traded Christian Wilkins, but at least we got a first-round pick. And you're going to use that first-round pick, and it probably ain't even to replace Christian Wilkins. It's probably to get your left tackle. I can't believe we didn't extend Waddle. May not happen, but there's going to be 1 or 2 guys that's going to be a reality. It's going to be a reality, and that's what's frustrating because I care about this team's long-term success. Now, y'all know how I feel. If we win a Super Bowl in the next 2 years, I can care less. I don't care if we suck for 15 years after that. You know, it ain't going to be nice. We're going to still want to be good, but I could care less. I just want in my lifetime for us to win a Super Bowl, hoist the Lombardi. But it got me nervous because I'm like, please win one. That's why go get Dalvin Cook. And I'm pushing, don't stop there. I'm even though we going with this O-line, I'll go try to get better if you can. And the only reason we're in this situation is because Chris Greer did a lot of failing in this rebuilding, and nobody's talking about it. Nobody wants to talk about it, but we're going to do a stream about it soon. Why he was ranked number 15 of all GMs. And that's about right, in the middle of the pack, because he failed in a lot of situations. If he didn't fail at left tackle with Austin Jackson or whoever he should have gotten or whatever, we would be, just imagine that if Austin Jackson was a success for that pick and you didn't have to get Teron Armstead and you got that 16 million. We can go get now we got a left tackle and now you got 16 million. Imagine if Robert Hunt would have worked out at right tackle and Solomon Kinley would have worked out at right guard. But you failed on Solomon Kinley at right guard, so you had to kick Hunt into right guard because he's a better right guard. He ended up being a better right guard than a right tackle, but he can play right tackle, but he's a better right guard as he played in college. But we missed on Solomon Kinley. We continuously miss at the center position. Theater, 3 centers from Baltimore that year, 2 years ago or whatever. I mean, we just keep missing there. Left guard, I don't remember everybody who been there. That's how many people done sat in that position. And we just can't, we keep missing. Tight end, we keep missing. Gesicki never could block, and you need a blocker in this scheme. Then you draft Hunter Long, you miss. We just keep missing at the tight end position. It goes on and on and on, this list of misses that we had to cover up. Noah Igbenogany, he was supposed to, people don't realize Noah was supposed to be X's replacement. This is why they didn't give X the extension and X was holding out in camp. Talk about injury. It was a holdout. 3 years ago, 4 years, excuse me, 3 years ago when X said, I want more money, they drafted Noah Igbenogany to sit behind X for a whole year and hope that he could become good enough to take that position. And they gave him 1 year. Then they said, okay, we'll extend X. Then they gave him 2 years. They said, we'll extend X again. People don't realize X done had like 2 extensions, 3 extensions. They've been wanting to get off of X's contract and X. He's, when you think about it, great player, but he's always hurt and he's going to cost too much. And they failed with the Noah move. So then they had to extend X several times and then end up giving him a big bag. Then you were looking for your replacement in Byron Jones. You start looking for that replacement, but you saw how bad you failed with Noah. So you just abandoned the draft and just said, let's go get undrafted players, see if anybody. And Byron ended up getting hurt. Now you got to replace Byron with the more expensive corner. It is an upgrade, but it's only for 2 years. It's not for our future. This is why it's so important to win in these 2 years. We can't end up like Buffalo, making the playoffs, going as far as the championship round. I know there's Dolphin fans out here going to be like, I mean, it's progress. You just got to, it's progress. I know there's a lot of Dolphin fans that's how they're going to act if that happens. We make the playoffs and we win a game or two and we make the AFC championship and we lose to the Chiefs or you lose to the Bengals or you lose to somebody. They can be like, it's progress. Trust me, if we do that like Buffalo for 2 years, you're going to see that progress get slapped right in the face and be right back to wild card, fighting for wild cards for the next 5 years after that. And the craziest part about this all in
that people don't realize? Oh, we'll be all right for the future. Greer will figure it out. Do you realize in our all-in approach, we didn't go all in and go get a whole bunch of 7 and 8s. We got guys that are rare. Teron Armstead's talent is rare. Tyreek Hill's talent is rare. Jalen Ramsey, rare. You're talking about the 3 Hall of Famers. When you replace them next time, 9.9 times out of 10, even if you get another good player, they won't be as good as those 3 guys. What we're doing is like so far off the scale that it's almost like you have to win now. Like if you don't, it's a massive, embarrassing failure. You got less than 5 teams in the NFL that got 2 top 10 corners. You got less than 5 teams in the NFL that got 2 top 10 wide receivers. Or top 15, why don't he on the edge there? When you got both of those units where you got 2 in the top 10, that's rare. And you probably have no team in the NFL but us that got 2 top corners in the top 10 and 2 top receivers in the top 10 on both sides of the ball. We probably the only team. Y'all don't understand what we're doing is rare. It's not even realistic in the NFL. Not even realistic in the NFL. You got 2 interior D linemen that's top 10 with Zeeler and Christian Wilkins just about. People think that other teams just built this way. Rarity. It would be, listen, you literally have to jack up your cap space for the future to do stuff like what we're doing. And people don't realize that. Say, oh, it's 2 years from now. We'll worry about it then. Y'all got, and that's only for a conversation of caring about the future. And now Dolphin fans are being forced to say, screw the future. Let's go now. And I'm with that. It's exciting. It's fun. But God dog, it is nerve-wracking because it's like, and I hope nobody ever does this in your life, but I'm using an example to get extreme. It's like your mortgage is due. And I'm talking about to the point to where you done missed so many payments that if you don't make this payment, you and all your kids, y'all getting kicked out tomorrow. And your mortgage is $3,000 and you got the $3,000 in your pocket. It's like driving down to the casino and putting it all on, putting it all 3,000 on black or whatever you play. And if you win, that 3,000 turned to 3 million. Whoo, it's exciting, boy. But God, dog, the excitement that the Dolphins have overshadow what it'll feel like if it doesn't work. We're so excited and we're like, screw the future. Let's go now. I'm with this. I think we can do it, blah, blah, blah. That we're like, we're ignoring what it'll feel like if we lose. As Brent said, always bet on black. We took that 3,000, we bet on black. That's what we're doing as an organization. But if that red hit, we're not talking about how that feels. If that red hits, we're not talking about how that feels. The drive home. Matter of fact, the drive home is so bad that it's going to take you, 15 minutes to get home, but your tank on E, and you ain't even got money to get gas to get home to tell your family we're going to be kicked out tomorrow.
We don't care. We've gotten to a point as a team and fans. We don't even care about that right now because that's how far in we're going. We're so oblivious to it. That's down the road. Same thing as the homie Ingraven with the Ravens, right? I used to be a guest on his show sometimes, right? And I always told him about 4 years ago, we had these conversations. I said, when it's time to pay Lamar, y'all in trouble. Y'all, first of all, y'all fundamentally don't believe in paying quarterbacks. Y'all want to Flacco everything. But then the money he's going to warrant, I don't see how y'all going to be able to do it. Look at the money y'all putting on this defense. What he said, we'll worry about that when it comes. See, people think that the Ravens are just being stingy. They are being stingy. They could sign him for a $51 million contract like Hurts today. But what people are not realizing is they literally can't do nothing else if they do. That's the Ravens. The Eagles, they lucked out. People not talking about it. They trying to down Hurts deal. Oh, they're going to do. No, y'all forget. Hurts just got the deal after year 3, not year 4 with the 5th-year option picked up. That gives the team way more flexibility, and they get to keep the team together now. People don't understand giving a quarterback their deal after year 3 gives them way more flexibility. Way more flexibility than creeping up on the deal right away. It gives them way more flexibility. His cap hit this year will probably be non-existent. Next year, he'll also probably have a low cap hit. Now, 3 years from now, his cap hit is going to skyrocket, but they're going to be just as competitive with more around because of that deal, how they can manipulate the money now. So, and this is another thing. People are saying this. Well, we got a good deal. If you look at what the other quarterbacks are making right now, we got a good deal with Tua, right? Watch when Hurts' numbers come out, and I want you to look at his cap hit for the next 2 years. First of all, this year, it ain't going to be much. Next year, it's going to read like it is, but then all they're going to do next year is give him more signing bonus, and then they're going to reduce the number all the way down. And it's probably going to be lower than Tua's 23, and we can't even manipulate Tua 23 because it's locked in. Unless we give Tua a massive extension. But again, the difference is Tua's massive extension is coming off of a $23 million guaranteed contract when Jalen Hurts' massive extension is coming off of a $3-4 million cap hit that he was making. So the Eagles have more to even spread out, even if Tua ball this year and we give him an extension next year. The Eagles still have more flexibility than us. That's why you want to do it after year 3. That's why Arizona did Kyler like that. If you could do it after year 3, it gives you the most flexibility that you can have. Once you pick up the 5th-year option, that's the second most flexibility. And if you didn't pick anything up and you got to go straight into the contract, no flexibility. It just hurts right away. Yeah, they done already put this man on $110 million signing bonus. Hurts. And what they're going to end up doing, watch. He'll restructure next year. He might restructure this year, right before camp. But they'll probably restructure for sure next year. Add 3 more years. Have some voidable years. That's the flexibility they get by doing it in year 3 for a young player. But we'll see. Time will tell. But yeah, Stephen Ross giving this all in directive. We're going for it all, y'all. And as a Dolphin fan, you got to be excited about that. But it's nerve-wracking. TD, who would you take, Eckler or Cook? Now, if it was my choice, I'm going to be honest, with the system that we run, gosh, that's difficult. I actually would take Cook over Eckler. Now, And there's only one reason for that, and Tua might fix it this year because he's capable. I don't know what's going on with him. But Tua was one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL under 10 yards this year. He like totally flip-flopped. When he was with Flores, nobody was better dinking and dunking. And nobody. Now under Mike McDaniel, he's one of the worst dinking dunkers there. And I ain't talking about just missing people, because he's always missed people underneath going for another, because again, one read and all that. Y'all know my theory, but whatever. But now all of a sudden, his accuracy and ball placement is terrible in the short in dink and dunks. We're not talking about that. Tua has gotten much worse in the dink and dunk. But the intermediate and deep has gotten a lot better. Well, deep, that's his numbers look better on the deep, but we already know most of them will be underthrown and stuff. But they complete it, so it's always going to look great. But the intermediate, he's like night and day. Like that was his biggest weakness, hitting the intermediate. Now it's one of his best strengths. But now what was his best strengths in the dink and dunks and in flats is one of his worst. So if he could put it all together, the intermediate, dink and dunk, I don't think he ever going to fix the deep ball as far as putting it in stride consistently, because he's done it before, but consistently. But hey, I don't care as long as it's still getting completed. That's what you got Tyreek for. If it ain't the best of passes, come back and get it, readjust, find it, whatever you got to do. But if he can put it all together, I don't see why he can't be top 5 quarterback in the NFL consistently for the full season. Still have a bad game, 2 bad games or something like that. And when I say bad, not horrible, just didn't play well. But he could be top 5 quarterback in the NFL and be a real true MVP candidate all season if he can do both of those things. So, we'll see. Time shall tell. We got 447 people watching, but we only got 191 likes. Y'all please hit that like button. But yeah, with this all-in directive, though, I will say this, man. Once again, I'm gonna say it one more time. It's exciting, but it's scary for the long term if it doesn't work out. Mike Vick said, TD, you cried. Well, hold on. TD, you cried about the dink and dunk last year. Now you still crying? No, Mike. I cried because we were like 80% dink and dunk last year. And you want more balance and you want him to throw intermediate. Now he's throwing intermediate and he's not dinking and dunking. I mean, he's still dinking and dunk. Sometimes it's just that he's not accurate with it for some reason. It's still no balance. So, and I mean, I know you're using the word crying to try to insult me or whatever, but that's just the honest, that's how it works, Last year, all he did, you would have a wide open guy 17 yards down the field. He takes the check down. You should be crying about that. You want the biggest gain you can get if it's there without having to force it. He didn't do that the previous 2 years. Now, last year, it was there or it wasn't there. He was throwing the ball anyway and connected. But now, if you look at the San Francisco game, you go look at the Chargers game. When they had that secondary on lock, we've already been through the film. The check down was there all day. He wasn't doing it. So yeah, you complain about that. That's how that's how you analyze players. Whatever they're not doing, you talk about it. So at the end of the day, the perfect situation where you don't have to hear me crying, he hits the intermediate when it's there, and when it's not there, he takes the check down. And you do that at a consistent basis. You don't take the check down if the intermediate is there and it's in your read, and you don't take the intermediate if the check down is there and the intermediate is not. It's that simple. So yeah, I was crying last year, crying this year, if that's what you want to call it. Yes, if you're new to the channel, hit that like button. Solo Man with the donation said, "Hey, ATD, hope you and the fam have a good day, bro." Thank you, sir. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, man, everything's going well, though. Everything's going well. With me and the fam, kids ain't sick. They were a little under the weather last week and the week before, but they all 100%. I hope right now when they get home, I hope they still 100%. But yeah, so we all good. It's called going through progressions. Yeah, I agree. Taiwan, go through your progressions. Go through them the right way. And again, this is the only frustrating thing about the Miami offense, and people who analyze film, they make excuses for it instead of just calling it what it is. We don't go through progressions like that in Miami. Do we go through progression sometimes? Yeah, but what we've done, no, I know, Mike. I know. Trust me, I know, bro. I just like to clarify for those watching. But what we've done as an offense, see, people will swear to me, no, you just wrong. I just urge y'all to pay attention to it. Go watch some film. What we've done as an offense is this. We have made it as easy as possible for Tua Tagovailoa, which you should. But how did we make it easy? This is the part where it's arguable. Tua Tagovailoa can't read defenses at an NFL level and process the field at an NFL level. That is my assessment. But it doesn't mean he can't have success in the NFL. You need to create a scheme that can hide or mask those inefficiencies. And that's what Flores did, whether y'all want to believe it or not, and Mike McDaniel is doing. Flores wanted him dinking dunking because our O-line wouldn't give him time to process anyway, even if he tried. So that's why we dinky dunk. And what y'all need to realize, we actually had success under Flores with it. It was Tua's highest completion percentage. People don't realize Tua's completion percentage this year fell mightily. The only reason his quarterback rating was as high as it was is because the dropped interceptions and the yardage, not because of the completion percentage. He fell this year like 3-4 points in completion percentage. But what we've done, what Mike McDaniel did, is Mike McDaniel a lot of times cut off the field. So you got a whole bunch of plays where we already know where we're going with the ball. I got single high, so I'm going to take a shot to Tyreek to the right. Down said Hut. Back to pass. I look left. My only reason I'm looking left is in hopes that the safety comes over a little. And when I look right, that ball is fired for Tyreek. Tyreek beats his guy. It's a touchdown. And hopefully I look the safety off enough or paused him to where he didn't go help side and pick it off. That's a lot of our plays where we, okay, now you're reading defense pre-snap because single high. Okay, I'm taking a shot. That's a pre-snap read. And what some people want to constitute that is, no, he went through progression. See, he looked to the left. It wasn't there. He came back and he threw it. There's one play online where people are arguing that when technically when he looked to the left, Mike Gesicki was wide open in the seam for the touchdown. But it didn't matter. He came back and threw it without even looking to the right. And it still ended up being a touchdown to Tyreek. But if you were going through the progressions, you would have hit Gesicki right up the middle because he was wide open. So people who they choose to see what they want to see. No, that's going through progressions. That's going through progressions. Why didn't he throw to Mike Gesicki? That's wide open. If he's looking over there, that's his first progression up the seam, looking to the left, and he's wide open. Why didn't he throw the ball then if it's going through progressions? So that's what we've created for him. A whole bunch of, we already know where we're going, but it's our job to get people off of their spots through manipulation and mechanics and fire the ball right where it's supposed to be. And the receiver needs to end up there with timing, and it can work if we could just be a precision offense. Precision offense. It's that simple. Another thing we do, instead of going through full progressions, you know how progression will be. First look is the slant. The next one is the over the top because they're playing cover 2, right? So the first one is the slant. If the linebacker backs off or the corner comes in, then I'm looking over the top for the go route. If that's not there, I'm checking back middle of the field for the deep crosser. If that's not there, I'm coming back to the check down. You see, going through orders. What we don't do that in Miami. We cut the field off. We're only going to look to the left, and these 3 guys have the action. If that isn't there, then that's there. If that ain't there, then that's there. But we don't say if it ain't there. What we do is we give indicators. All you need to know is if the linebacker goes that way, throw the ball in this spot because your slant is there. If the linebacker stays, throw it over there because the flat should be there. If the linebacker stays and you're about to throw it in the flat in the corners there, you got the over the top. We cut the field off, and if a defense plays great defense over here and they know where to go, and you might have wide open people on the other side, but it doesn't matter because we never will look that way. But we're going through progressions. And I'm talking about plays where we actually have a clean pocket. Plays where we actually have a clean pocket. Them are the only ones I judge in these situations. We cut the field in half and we make it simple. I only want you to worry about this action. I don't want you to no, we ain't going to 4. We literally. Then you have this case rare, and it's rare too. Then you have this case where we'll be back to pass. We'll look to the right. It ain't there. We'll look to that next, and it ain't there. Nothing's there, and the pressure's coming. We're scrambling, and he sees somebody. This ain't progressions. It's just backyard football. Once you start scrambling, if you see somebody, you throw it to them. Oh, look at all the progressions we went through. He went there, rolled out, and then went there. No, that's not progression. So and again, that don't make me right. I might be wrong. Maybe he is going through progressions, but again, it leads me. If he is going through progressions, I scratch my head like, why didn't you hit Gesicki up the middle if you're going through progressions? He was wide open, and that's your first read. And instead, you just flipped and threw it. Didn't even look over there. You just threw it. So that's where it doesn't make sense to me. So again, I have my belief on that matter, but it doesn't make me right. At the end of the day, complete the ball. Let's move it downfield. Let's score. And we'll continue to analyze and break it down. It's that simple. I just hope that this year, number one, he stays healthy and plays 17 games in the regular season. Number two, he plays at a high level like we've seen him do, but not against inferior competition only, but against the best of the best consistently throughout the entire game, right? Just like that Ravens game, beautiful fourth quarter, but we need a good level of play for the majority of the game. And when you run into the better competition like San Francisco, Chargers, Green Bay, and all of that, have some of your better games. Have some of your better games. I'm tired of these situations like, well, do you remember when he played the Chiefs? He dug the hole. Remember how he helped bring us back versus Atlanta? He dug the hole. We can't have that. Stop digging holes and then getting out of them, but not making any heels. Not even a speed bump. You just fill the hole back up. You got to be able to make a pile. Start building up. You can't dig down and then cover the hole and say, hey, I did my part. No. It was a waste of time. A franchise quarterback got to be able to get us stack on the pile. Just put it like that. And I'm going to be honest, I'm very hopeful for him this year. First thing I cross my fingers about is just stay healthy. Let's see who you really are. I've always been open to Tua being a franchise quarterback. I just never believed he would be for multiple reasons, and those reasons continue to rear their head. I told y'all 3 years ago, I would draft Tua in the first round, but not before pick number 9. If I'm Miami, I'll trade back, get another asset, and pick them at 9 or 10. Because I had 8 players that I would have picked before him. 2 of them 8 players are bust already, it looked like to me. But the other 6 are doing just fine. At least for where they are right now. And we picked them at 5. I've always said I would still draft them, but not at 5. I would draft them 9 or later. And we got him at 5. So I'm always open to him being a franchise quarterback, but there's some things he got to do. And number one, and y'all got to remember when I used to do those streams, why did I say that I wouldn't pick him at 5? I said that I did a whole stream saying before we drafted Tua, I said it would be negligibly irresponsible. It would be literally irresponsible and negligible to draft him at number 5 for the injuries alone. For the injuries alone. And then when you add on the play, he's a big incomplete in college. Beat up on all the trash teams, as Alabama and every Alabama quarterback does. Whether they're good or not, all of them put up 5 touchdowns, 400 yards against the bum teams every week. And you want to grade an Alabama quarterback, you grade them against the ranked teams. And when I did my research, those were his struggles. Still had some good games, but you could see where it could translate to the NFL where he might, not guarantee, but might have a little issue. And to this day, still seeing every single one of those areas as being potential issues, including the injuries. And people ignore it, but they've been telling you since college. LSU players were telling you. Clemson players were telling you. I had video that I showed y'all of Clemson players and LSU players. I think it was LSU players telling us on screen before we even drafted Tua, telling you, oh yeah, we knew we would beat Tua and them. You know, don't get tricked by his eyes. If he looking to the left, he probably throwing to where your assignment is anyway. And if it ain't there, he gonna throw it anyway. You know how many players have said that? When I did the film study, I concluded that before I heard any player say it. And then players start saying it. And people like, oh, this is just wrong. They're not right. I saw it on film. Even if it's not there, he's going to throw it because it's scripted. He already knows. He already knows what should be there. And if they mix up the coverage, in trouble. Y'all really need to go to that Green Bay game. We keep saying concussion. All 3 of them. I mean, the first one he shouldn't have threw to begin with. He was just trying to force it. But the other 2, they schemed those. Literally. You could just see it. The one he was throwing out to the right to Kaseki on that first play. Go look at the drive before that. They ran the same action, and that corner followed the crosser. So Mike McDaniel dialed up a similar play and said, if that corner followed the crosser, you got the guy over the top. As soon as he hiked the ball, that corner was following the crosser in his zone, and Tua cocked back. Right when he was throwing it, the corner backed out into his zone. Picked him off. Because Tua, all right, he followed. Oh, he's following. Go over the top. Baited him. The next one, up the seam. Miscommunication or not. The linebacker sat there and then filled that gap quick. Interception. Time will tell, man. Time will tell. And I'm going to tell y'all now what's going to make the difference, because I want Tua to actually succeed. But what's going to make the difference for Tua, I think that we do need to get the run game in here, take a little pressure off of him. And we need to continue to create an atmosphere of wide open receivers across the middle. And what better way to do that than having a good run game? Because I'm going to tell you now, teams are figuring it out. And if they just hone in on Tyreek and Waddle and you just got Wilson and Mostert to be the guys, I see another 7-9 win team. And it may get you in, but that's just what I see. I think we do need to get the run game. Of course, we need to get the O-line, but and hopefully the defense improves as well. But give Tua even more time to continue to develop in this league. Because I'm going to tell you, if Tua can make it about 6 years in this league, he'll start doing some of the things. He'll start becoming a master at his craft now. Then he can actually advance that with the things that he's always struggled with that they've hidden. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. They're masking and hiding his flaws. Like Mike McDaniel said in one of his first press conferences, it's my job to come in and make whatever flaws he has, make them not even exist because we won't even put him in a position to show him. But once you get him to a point where he's mastering what he's doing now, which he probably could be real close to, then he ain't got to worry about that more, and he can start focusing on the things he's always struggled with. And that's what makes you that long-term great quarterback. Next thing you know, you look up in 10 years, Tua out here reading every defense real time, anticipating, calling audibles, doing it all because he's seen it all. He's a kinesthetic learner. He has to experience it a few times before he locks it in. So hopefully we can figure out a way to, continue to develop him because, ladies and gentlemen, no matter what you see right now, 3 and 4 years from now, Tua ain't going to have crutches. He's not going to have the Tyreek Hills of the world. He's not going to have, I'm telling you, he ain't going to have all the stuff he has now. If he makes it, if he becomes the franchise quarterback and he get his bag, he ain't gonna always have it. He ain't gonna always have it. And that's where he's gonna have to do the carrying. That's where he's gonna have to be the carrying. And if you want to be honest and objective, Tua has yet to carry this team. Yet to carry this team. And luckily last year, he didn't have to. I ain't trying to put it on one player, but anybody with 2 eyes knows who carried this team last year. Anybody with 2 eyes know who carried this team last year. Matter of fact, y'all know I love to check in. Who is that person? Y'all put it in the comment section. See if we're on the same page. Who carried this team last year? I mean, it was technically, I wonder, am I wrong if I say this? I am wrong by saying it because it's another guy who, well, let me say it first. There was a guy who was the most consistent last year, and that was Tyreek Hill. Now, Christian Wilkins on the other side of the ball was highly consistent as well. Those 2 guys kind of led the way for the team last year in their impact. But at some point, Tua's got to carry his team. Tyreek Hill easily carried his team. Yes. I mean, think about the games that we should have lost. Wasn't it one game where he came out of a pile from a fumbled ball or something and ran a touchdown? Something like, I mean, it's all kind of like, listen, Tyreek Hill carried us last year. Tyreek Hill was probably responsible for about 4 to 5 wins by himself. I know it's a team sport and, everybody got to do their job, but y'all know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. I mean, it was so many situations where Tyreek, thank you. Split the defense. I mean, y'all got to, even the deep balls where we were in the dirt and we needed something to happen. Tua throws it deep. Tyreek readjusts and come back to the ball. Like, some receivers just keep running. And like, dang, that's a bad throw. Tyreek tracked down. It was one play I remember, Tua put it up there. Tyreek jumped ball and snatched it from the defender. On the left side, he threw it, and it was late in the game. And this was early in the season. It might have been the Patriots game or something like that. Or maybe even Baltimore in the first half. But these are the type of things I'm talking about. It was a terrible throw, too. Should have been picked. Tyreek went up there and snatched it from the defender. Fender hands all up on it. I forgot which game that was. Do y'all remember? Was it Pats or Ravens? It was early, though. It was like right away. It might have been the Patriots. Y'all let me know in the comment section. Which game was that? Y'all got to remember that pass. It was an easy pick. Tyreek went up higher in the corner and took it from him. And Tua just threw the ball. Like, oh my God. All Tyreek. That was another pick. Y'all already know. Patriots, that's what it was? Patriots. It was week 1, huh? Week 1. Okay, I remember it was early in the season. Early in the season. But that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. Imagine that being a pick 6 or something because it wasn't Tyreek Hill. Imagine that was Jakeem Grant or somebody, and that's a pick 6. We probably don't win the Pats game. We probably wouldn't win the Pats game. I think we scored like 3 points on offense versus the Pats. And the defense score. We won like 16-3. Imagine them getting that 10 and we don't score on that drive because we scored on that same drive. A field goal or something. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about. But yeah, if that was a pick 6, we would have lost that game most definitely. Maybe the whole game could have changed. We probably would have won by 50 or we would have lost by 50. You never know. But I get what you're saying. Delusional Pats fan, 20 points. Oh, 20-3? Something like that. Something like that. But it wasn't our offense. Our offense didn't play well in that game. Y'all offense was trash too. Our defense was just better. In week 1 at least. But yeah, you can't throw a 50-50 to a 5'9" receiver. I agree, but thank God for Tyreek. He made it work. He made it work. So it is what it is, man. We made Tua play with concussions. I don't think we did. We didn't make him play. I don't think we ever forced Tua to play. I think more than anything, Tua preferred to play. Shout out to my homie Elder Bruce Jones with the donation. Said, TD, what's good? What did I miss so far? Not much, man. I believe we're actually about to secure a deal for Dalvin Cook. I just don't know if it's before the draft, on the draft, or after June 1st. But I think we're going to end up having him in Miami. Also, Jalen Hurts got his bag. I mean, he ain't really missed much. We've been talking about all these things. All right. TD, would you go after a back in the draft and save the money? Plus, we still have last year's backfield. No. Listen, I'm telling y'all now, in the second round, Miami needs to get a guard or a linebacker. Because those two positions, you're going to get the best value at those two positions at the draft pick. You ain't got a whole bunch of guards going in the first round. So you can get one of the better guards in the second. You ain't got the best line. I mean, yeah, you got a few, 2 or 3, but you ain't got a ton of linebackers in the first round. But you can get the best value in the second round with a linebacker. So I say with that number 2 overall pick, I mean the second round pick, please be a guard or a linebacker. Unless somebody phenomenal that was a first round talent falls and you want to take that chance, or for whatever reason, that's a different story. That's a different story. So that's where I'm at with it. But a running back, no. No. And let me tell you what I hate about running backs early in the draft. First of all, most of the best running backs, it's hard. Once again, it's hard to talk about how good they are. You see the highlight reels, but forget they got a top 5 O-line in the nation. Let me give you an example. You get a top, say the best running back coming out, right? He has 0 resistance at the first level. He runs between the tackle and the guard, and ain't no defender within 5 feet. Boom, going through the hole. Now he's meeting resistance in the secondary. Oh, look at the moves. Look at the flash. Oh, my gosh, he's explosive. Then you get another running back that's a 4th-round talent. But his highlights in college, his work in college, 50% of the time, he ain't free to go in that first level. It's a lot of thin holes and all this and that. But every time he does get an opportunity to go through a hole like that first rounder, he look even more explosive. Ooh, look at all the talent. But guess what? The other guy got double the numbers, recognized more, done been in the national championship, been a candidate for Heisman, done all of that stuff, but wasn't even close to the same situation when that 4th-round guy might be a better back. But you'll never know until they get to the league. You just won't know. You don't know. You don't know if they're a better back because they've been in a perfect situation. 80% of the time, the trenches, the O-line is killing the D-line, and they get their hole, then they get to be them. That 4th-rounder, 80% of the time, he got to go all the way around the wall just to show how good he is, which is less often. So you don't know. You don't know. You don't know about these running backs, man. You don't know about these running backs. You don't know, man. Hold on, man. What is that? All right, my bad. But yeah, man, like I said, you just don't know. Okay, it's frozen on me. It's true though, TD. Sounds like Isaiah Pacheco. Yeah, man, Le'Veon Bell. Yeah, man. This is what I'm saying. I don't like the whole running back thing. I believe in the Jerry Jones approach. And I have no idea why Jerry Jones went against that. Jerry Jones taught me a valuable lesson about 5-6 years ago. He had the best O-line in football just about. And he had 2 running backs that ran for 1,000 yards. Jerry Jones didn't renew neither of their contract and let them walk. All the Dallas Cowboy fans got mad and said, "What are you doing?" And Jerry Jones, in front of a camera and a microphone, literally, and I tell you no lie, I probably can't find it now, but this is what this man said. He literally said out his mouth to the fans, "Shut up." He said, "Shut up. A Mack truck can run through this line." Jerry Jones said a Mack truck can run through this line. He let both running backs that ran for over 1,000 go. He signed another one who wasn't as known or as good at the time. That running back 1,400 yards, 1,200 yards for like 2 years. He let them go. Then insert Ezekiel Elliott. Zeke Elliott every year, 11, 12, 1,300 yards. And for the first time in Jerry Jones' tenure in Dallas, with that O-line, he went against what he believed. And he gave the running back the contract. For the first time, Ezekiel Elliott got the bag. And I honestly, because they waited to the last minute to do it, I think he did it just because of like jersey sales and all that, because they had become stars. The Ezekiel Elliott had become a household name bigger than those other guys just because of, the Salvation Army bucket, him jumping in, the eat Zeke. It was just a thing in Dallas. And he paid him. And did he make a mistake by paying Ezekiel Elliott? I think we all know now. I think we all know that they did not get the value of that contract. They paid him. The O-line wasn't the same because that O-line got old. And now he's been trying to rebuild that O-line. And look at him now. So he went, and he could have took that $16 million, whatever he gave Zeke, and kept having a good O-line. But instead, he decided to pay Zeke and try to go with the same old guys that were getting older. Some of them had retired. So I've never felt that way about a running back. Anytime we get a running back before the third round, I'm actually turned off. Might end up being one of the greatest of all times, yes, but I don't like it. Because that position in most cases, usually, unless you just got a generational talent, is usually reserved. It's the O-line, y'all. That's all I'm saying. It's the O-line. It's the offensive line. It's the O-line. So I don't believe in a first or second round running back unless it's just a generational player that you're literally going to pick in the top 5 or 10. It's that crazy. You know what I mean? So it's subjected to the O-line. The running back position, yes. And the reason why is, now I can see if you're running a wildcat and it's a direct snap. Now you're the quarterback and you got more time to make moves with a bad O-line. That's different. Y'all think we were running wildcat in Miami when we were running it because we didn't have a traditional run game? No, our O-line was trash. So you couldn't afford for the quarterback to get the ball and then the quarterback to give the running back the ball. You needed the running back to get the ball right away, so he could make a more sound decision versus getting a handoff and 2 people already in his face. What up, Jondre, Leo? Salute to you, man. Salute to you. But yeah, man, yeah, the running back, it's not just depending on the O-line, but it's also the time it takes for the quarterback to get the ball and then giving it to the running back too with a bad O-line. It's just not good. Go watch them Derrick Henry games in Buffalo last year. Go watch the Buffalo Derrick Henry game. When the Titans O-line was bad, they left tackle got hurt. They just had one of the worst O-lines in the NFL early in the season. Go watch that game with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry and Tannehill got benched in the middle of the third quarter. Why? Because every time they hiked the ball, Buffalo was in the backfield. Derrick Henry get the ball, chopped. Derrick Henry, you would think, listen, if the Titans keep that O-line for 2 years, if the Titans kept that O-line for 2 years and Derrick Henry was a rookie, they'll be calling him a bust. See how that works? If the Titans kept that same O-line that they had when they played against Buffalo, that collection of guys, and they kept it for 2 years and Derrick Henry was a rookie and a sophomore, they would have been ready to move on from Derrick Henry by year 3, calling him a bust. So it's heavily dependent on the O-line. They also have to fear your QB. Yeah, that too. Passing game, keep the linebackers at bay. All right, man. Anyway, man, I think we good on this one, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in today. I got some more streams coming later. I also got to do some work on TD Sports talk about those NBA games last night, all 4 of them. Just crazy stuff going on, man. And we got to hit that Chris Greer stream. I might wait till tomorrow to do the Chris Greer stream. That's a pretty good one that I want to cover. All right, so check me out later today on TD Sports Talk, and I will see y'all soon. Love y'all, appreciate y'all. Fins up no matter what. Peace. Your boy is out.